Tobago. It is Wednesday, 14th of June 2017. The time, according to Google, is 8 o'clock on the dot. And our opening salvo, we ask, public office holders have a duty to answer to the public. That is where the media comes in and why it is protected by the Constitution. Where we in Trinidad and Tobago have a problem at present is this current government appears to be owned by the same people who own the media, turning the people's voice against them. That is why we defend social media so strenuously and why Faris Alawi needs to be resisted. And while the numbers build, Kurt Allen, tell them Kurt. I understand we have some special guests looking on tonight. Special good evening to all of you. Keep me informed as to how the feed is going.
I visited Parliament Chamber, witness an orchestra, a bang, 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 of only politicians. Well, rated their performance on style, talent and endurance.
Share it. Call out everybody. Let them know we're here.
Parliamentarians. All the things that encourage hate.
Listen.
Making good folks discriminate. Bridges replaced by gates. Nurturing racism, prejudice and tribalism, multiculturalism. Amag is up from the UNC and the BNN, COP and the political symphony. It's a symphony with the GOP, MSJ and JC and the political symphony. It's a symphony. Stop taking it cool. Don't be playing for fool.
They're using race as a tool to divide, conquer, and fool.
Justify your bull. The race can they always pull. Uproar, uproar, uproar.
Canadian authorities seized 43 kilos of cocaine that arrived on a flight from Trinidad and Tobago. Cocaine flowing through this country like water. Why isn't government talking about it? Why isn't the opposition? Why has neither the PNM nor the UNC sought to secure the borders and this nation's ports? Read this. Canadian Border Service agents have seized more than 43 kilograms of cocaine discovered in the fake floor of a cargo container aboard a flight that landed at Pearson International Airport last month. That shipping container was sent on a flight from Trinidad and Tobago when officers inspected its contents in a routine screening on May 5th, according to Canada Border Services Agency. Upon examining the container further, a false floor was discovered. A news release said underneath the floor, 38 bricks of cocaine weighing more than 43 kilograms were located. The illegal narcotic was turned over to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. CSBA officers are always on the lookout for contraband. CSBA Acting Regional Director General Norm Sheridan said, "This seizure demonstrates our commitments to Canadians." Where's the commitments for Trinidadians? The maritime security wall that would end this traffic. Why is the government failing to act? The United States and, ironically, even the Canadian government have offered to assist by sending their Coast Guard units, their personnel, to lock it down, shut down the borders. Anything coming in, going out must be stopped and searched. We need to get to there. We need to be checking every container on the port. How is this much cocaine coming into Trinidad and Tobago, and why is the government not doing anything about it?
Lead vocalists have sore throat. Keyboard is playing wrong note. In this bang, bang, bang of serial politicians. Their lyrics not rhyming. Some have no sense of timing. In this bang, bang, bang of parliamentarians. Save your move for the babalis, promoting the cause of justice, or what democracy at risk. When the section called to the fore, music rock to the core, who arranged the score, so impure with the Corruption rebuff. Say enough is enough. The system will always fail. Once the big fish not making jail. No integrity, no morality.
The system will always fail as long as the big fish not making jail. $1 million madness. State still renting empty building. It needs to change, says the Auditor General. The state continues to pay millions of dollars to rent buildings that remain unoccupied. This is according to the Auditor General, Majid Ali, who raised the issue yet again during Wednesday's meeting of the Public Accounts Committee at Tower D International Waterfront Center, Port of Spain. Noting that this has been the practice for many years, Ali said there was need for change so as to put public funds to better use. A total of $65.3 million was paid for the rental of 4 unoccupied properties by ministries and departments over a period of time, Majid said. One of these ministries paid a total of $53.5 million from December 12th to July 2016. Public funds were not and still are not being utilized in the most efficient way. Chairman of the committee, Bo Tiwari, questioned what was the reason for the persistence of these bad practices. Ali responded that the issue of renting of unoccupied building was a result of slow process of furnishing and outfitting. It is taking too long for these ministries to get into the agreement to occupy these properties. The process of getting it equipped and getting cabinet approval is a long period of time. Asked whether arrangements could be made for the payment of rent to commence upon occupation of a building, legal officer Nicole Coburn explained that outfitting the building is usually done by the respective ministry and not by the owner. As a result, she said, rent must be paid from the time of the agreement so as to secure access to the building and prevent the owner from offering the property for rent elsewhere. Ali, however, noted that in some cases, rental payments are made by the government to owners without the execution of proper lease arrangements, without lease agreements. This is theft. This is fraud. This is corruption. Where's the Commissioner of Police? Where's the Director of Public Prosecutions? Who are acting on these instances where the Auditor General raising these issues over and over again? Are we waiting for somebody to come and kill the Auditor General to silence the last person that at least saying you're letting them waste the money? Somebody needs to go to jail for this. Somebody needs to be fined. Somebody needs to be prosecuted. Somebody needs to be charged. How can you be entering into arrangements to spend public funds without proper agreements? Hear this one. Hear this one. This one will ring a bell. Government paying $37 million rent for empty building. Government has been paying tens of millions of dollars, somewhere between $28 million to $37 million for an unoccupied building. Since 2010, government has been paying the hefty sum of $8.2 million annually for renting a building located at 1 Alexandra Street, which it has never occupied. In addition to this, government has been paying $927,360 per year for security for that same building, to secure nothing. Local government minister then, Marlene Kudre, in the House of Representatives, stated that government pays a monthly rent of $690,000, which adds up to $8.2 million a year for the building. This has been paid since October 2010. This sum was paid for the financial years ending September 2011, September 2012, and September 2013, she said. The minister stressed the rental started on this building in 2009. If one includes rental payment and security for the year 2009, it means that the taxpayer has paid around $37 million in total. The rent has been paid to NJ Nahus, while the security fees have been paid to Professional Protection Training Services, Kudre said. Kudre was responding to the question filed by Aruka Maloney MP, then Alicia Hospitalis, which asked her to state whether any buildings were being rented by the Ministry of Local Government which were not being utilized, and the money paid in relation to such buildings since 2010 to present. Kudre, now you see, that is a PNM member of parliament, and she is asking about a building that she had to be fully aware is owned by her then senator, now AG, PNM member Faris Al-Rawi. These people have contempt for us. Kudre gave figures which she said were from October 2010, but she pointed out that the rental started on this building in the year 2009. Asked by hospitalists why the facility has not been utilized for the last 4 years, Kudre said, Mr. Speaker, this question is a new one and I would need to check the records to determine. I could tell you. You could have asked Chandra Sharma to stand up, but stick a pin in that. The building was originally earmarked for the Ministry of Local Government at the time when Hazel Manning was the minister. The rental contract was signed under the People's National Movement, which lost the 2010 election shortly afterwards. Manning, Faris, Hazel, and a building on 1 Alexandra Street cost this country tens of millions of dollars. It is ongoing. It is going on still. Faris Al-Rawi, who has all the mouth and all the noise and all the answers for everybody else. The same Faris Al-Rawi guns in Kamuto Gate. That same Faris Al-Rawi, up to this point, nobody has stepped forward yet to accept culpability or responsibility, and neither the DPP nor the Commissioner of Police has sought to insert themselves into this. So who do the people go to? I keep asking that question. I keep asking that question. The building is being paid for and is lying empty, collecting spiders, and all because they could not award the contract to the selected contractor, he claimed. There is more to this. I want you to hear Faris' take on this. This is Faris's response. Then, this is your Attorney General. Checks Al-Rawi distances himself. Checks at the company's registry revealed that there was no company called NJ Nahus, but NJ Nahus Investments Limited, whose principal shareholder is Nazim Nahus. Directors listed include Nazim Nahus, businessman, Jinan Nahus, businesswoman, Michael Nahus, businessman, Jinan Nahus Hajdar, businesswoman, and Mona Nahus Al-Rawi, whose husband is PNM Senator, now Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi. Al-Rawi, however, has made it clear that he has no financial interest in the building. Mr. Speaker, they're making chicken for dinner, but I don't eat chicken, so I just take in some gravy, so we're safe. I personally have no interest in that entity. I am aware that the government rented that building on or around 2010. I am aware the man was the lawyer for the transaction, and it pays a market rental value below the rate paid by the government to many entities. So they're raping other people, and this are small rapes, so let go now. Al-Rawi said, Engine House Investment Limited, he added, was a limited liability company which has been a landlord to successive governments, including the UNC, PNM, NAR, and UNC since the early 1970s. Al-Rawi also knocked Kudre for her comments. Now I want you to hear the justification, the rationalization, the misdirection, the deflection, and the total distraction away from the point and the important issue here. If Ms. Kudre's words are intended to be speculative of some lack of transparency, then let her come out and say so, Al-Rawi added. He said the owner of the building certainly cannot be called upon to speak to government issues as it is only a landlord, he added, and any attempt to draw salacious references to me are futile. I did not eat the chicken. I only eat in gravy. Any of my personal business can certainly stand up to full scrutiny. To who, Faris? Who does it get scrutinized by? Who? Who scrutinizes it in this banana republic, the Royal Imperial Majestic Banana Republic of Trinidad and Tobago? Who do the people turn to and say, hey, go and check that? Who? I am aware that there are many properties rented under this regime, that is the UNC, which are owned by family members of the UNC. Again, all you're doing wrong, so we could do wrong too. He said he came from a family and a community which have significant investments in Trinidad and Tobago. Put that in all your pipe and smoke it. Or, like my partner, my Grenadian partner, Swinger Francisco said, we like it so. Trying to get doctors.
Never look, if I was a selfish man, I wouldn't be involved in this election. I don't know already, I want fame. say you're looking for fortune again. All I'm asking is that you pay close attention to the many problems we all face from dawn to dawn. You're intelligent, I think, and you should face issues, but you're behaving like a moron, cussing me for way I born, but you fight me and no water. You pay too much for butter. Take your steel beam and go. The terrible school system is such a bloody problem. Take your steel beam and go. Agriculture's in a state, planning is inadequate. Take your steel beam and go. The northern and southern idol, the two kingpins are bubble. We know, we like it so.
Both Chief of Defense Staff Brigadier General Rodney Smart, now on vacation, and Acting Chief of Defense Staff Hayden Pritchard have purchased apartment units at the posh Housing Development Corporation, Victoria Keys Development. I've been telling you all, keep your eyes on those buildings. Built with HDC money, public funds. Look at what's going on. Housing Minister Randall Mitchell confirmed yesterday, but both went through the proper process, and it was all done above board. Smart and his wife, Karen, applied for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath unit worth $2.4 million in April this year, while Pritchard was assigned a 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit worth $1.5 million in February this year. Now, Smart is the signature on the bottom of the Board of Inquiry Freedom of Information document released to Senator Wayne Sturge that former Chief of Defense Staff Major General Kenrick Maraj said is pure rubbish, open lies, fraudulent, and he is now taking the government and the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force to task and has filed a Freedom of Information request of his own. Mitchell confirmed the information after opposition MP Rudal Munlal initially did so during the UNC's Monday night forum. The purchase of Smart's unit, Munlal claimed, came around the time the media got hold of a letter from Chief of Staff stating it was former CDS Kenrick Maharaj acting on his own volition who authorized the visit of Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi's children to the shooting range at the Army's Camp Kamuto. His letter cleared the AG of any wrongdoing. We have received information of housing and housing units distribution at Victoria Keys. One of the units costing $2.4 million was given to one Rodney Smart and Karen Oliver Smart, Munilal told supporters. If there's another man with this name, I apologize. But this is the name of the Chief of the Defense Staff. And how did he pay? Munilal claimed, I have to take a call because doctors are willing to comment on something, so I have to deal with that just now. Munilal claimed Pritchard also purchased an apartment unit at Victoria Keys at a cost of $1.5 million. Unless there's another Hayden Pritchard, that's the name of the acting Chief of Defense Staff. If there are dots, I don't know. You connect the dots, I ascribe no act of wrongdoing to these gentlemen. Photographs of Al-Rawi's children posing with high-powered semi-automatic weapons were brought into the public domain through Munilal in Parliament since October last year. After public pressure to make a statement on the matter, the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force announced it had established a board of inquiry to investigate the situation, but withheld on releasing its findings. On April 25th, the TDF, in a letter signed by Smart, responded to Wayne Sturge's request and deduced that the Attorney General's children were not allowed to have high-powered weapons belonging to the Defense Force in the presence of the Attorney General and the TDF. However, it cleared the AG of wrongdoing. But soon after the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force report was made public, Maraj called on Smart to retract and amend the statements made, saying he had nothing to do with the AG's family's visit to Camp Kamuto. The Army, however, has stuck to its statement and said the case was now closed. In your preference, the Army has said that a man who has said he wasn't there, the Army say he was there. The man say he knew nothing about it, the Army say he knew everything about it, and the Army sticking to that. This is a country where you could not only get thrown under the bus, If you wasn't even close by, you cannot. The story took a new turn at the UNC meeting in St. Helena when Munilal, quoting from documents, said the purchase of units by Smart and Pritchard around the time of the TDF report may well be coincidental. He said, however, that the two men have a duty to tell the truth on Army Gate. Somebody asked me today if those units were bought through mortgages. Which bank approved two retirees for mortgages? Who am I getting?
Anything that's wrong, he go put it right.
Shiva.
Georgie Porgy tell we the other night.
I don't hear any. You hear me?
So instead of displaying impatience, pull yourself and give the fella a chance. How the hell you could say, oh, and I'm gonna do better? Bet we send you back Grenada in a crowd.
Okay, well, let them call me now.
Me and Georgie going to put it right together. We have freeness and freedom. Plenty roti, plenty rum. Hospitals have no linen. This brown paper they're using. Take this feed and go. Public transport.
Hospital have no linen. It's brown paper they're using. We couldn't have segued at a better time. I am getting an anonymous call from a medical professional. We got some information today, so we put it in the public space. And I want you to hear this. So much stuff to deal with at one time. I said the allegations made in this post are astounding, but not more so than the lack of media. I am asking those in the medical community or anyone who may have been at Mount Hope to confirm if any of this is true. This is what was sent to me. Philip, I am copying a post shared by a colleague at Mount Hope. They had no electricity again, with no generators kicking in for 6 hours last evening. This is the person's post. Special shout out to the patients and their relatives who decided to argue with me last night in the pitch black darkness about the lack of electricity, beds and meds. Even though I literally couldn't see you, I definitely heard you. However, before you attack me, here's what my day looked like yesterday. I took 2 hours to get to work due to traffic. Had to balance clinic and referrals in emergency. When electricity went, all doctors on call had to see patients using our phone flashlight while you all argued with us. We had to take turns using the light from the exit sign, which was the only thing working to write our notes. Then we had to walk around the pitch black hospital in pairs in the hope that no psychos were looking around the corner. Our food basically went to crap because the fridge wasn't working. Our mold-infested call rooms, which also had no electricity, was basically a torture chamber. No ventilation and no water. Had to strip down to my underwear in an attempt not to go insane. When electricity finally came back almost 6 hours after, we had to deal with the flurry of deaths discovered and obviously distraught relatives. Water in the call room was brown, which meant no shower after a 24-hour period. So no sleep and no shower 24 hours later. I had to drive home in South to bathe. Now back up north for school, which ends up at 7 p.m. But really, we apologize to the general public since it was obviously the doctor's fault for not having electricity. It was our bad. Thanks to my on-call team for keeping me sane. The reality is that a nation that is spending $17 million a day cannot fund backup generators. Miss me with that. I post that. I get this. Mr. Alexander, I work at the Eric Williams Medical Science Complex. Been working there for the last 16 years. With regards to your post on the electricity issue at Mount Hope, today I was told by one of my long-standing colleagues who has a friend in engineering. The electrical system in the Eric Williams Medical Science Complex is so overloaded. The place is like a ticking time bomb, and the next time there is an electrical outage, she should just look for the nearest exit out of the building. This is the seriousness of the matter. Somebody else sent this. Philip Edward Alexander, I was hospitalized there recently due to a cardiac problem, and yes, electricity went. And when electricity goes at Mount Hope, water goes. So I couldn't take a shower for the entire day till night. Thank God it wasn't that time of the month where I would have literally died, as the place was hot, and although the fans on the walls looked brand new, none worked. I went without medication for some days, as the nurses apologized for the shortage. The healthcare in this country is in a deplorable state. On admission, I waited from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. for a bed. Also, doctor most times come in on Sundays to discharge patients for the rush on Mondays. I was discharged with an abnormal ECG reading and told to register for the heart clinic and make further appointments for an echocardiogram and stress echo. I did, and you wouldn't believe the far dates I got, seeking medicals privately now. Somebody else sent. Pregnant women sitting around for hours. Washrooms in a mess. No toilet paper, no paper towels. I had to take wet wipes to give them. They tell you to be there for an ultrasound at 7, and they are not there until 8. Then you get comfy for the day. I mean, what is going on in this country? What is going on, Mr. Terence Diansing? After Christopher Phillips' death on the lawn, the chief executive officer of the Regional Health Authority has told the nation that they've submitted their report to the Minister of Health since Friday as requested. It is now Wednesday of the following week. We are pretending that a citizen of this republic was not flung out of a hospital by 2 MTS security guards for having the audacity to need medical treatment. So he was flung out of the hospital by 2 gloves-wearing MTS officers so he could roll around on the hospital lawn and die. And we have the ignobility and the obscenity of Terence Diansing telling the nation that the hospital is not to blame. So who is? Because the $17 million a day, the $6.25 billion being spent this year is being spent for that. So if we are not getting that, what is it being spent for? An audit of the public health sector in this country, if not a commission of inquiry, is sorely needed. Besides the madness of Kamla's Coover Hospital that cost $1 billion. $1 billion. I am getting a call with no caller ID, so I'm assuming this is one of my anonymous tips. Hello, good evening, you're live.
Hi, good evening.
Are you a medical professional?
I am.
We got information of power outages, lack of medications, no beds for patients, that the Mount Hope Hospital is in pre-collapse, that the on-call room for the doctors is mold infested, that when there is no electricity, there are no backup generators and people die. Is any of this true?
Well, I could surely support that there are electricity problems. Definitely. There is a generator. However, the generator works for a while, obviously, and then it will stop working before the electricity actually comes back. So yes. So I could definitely support that claim. And people in the ICU who are on ventilating machines, the operating theater, all these important places can't work as they should.
So if you are on life,
do suffer.
If you are on life support and the electricity that is required to run life support goes,
right,
you die.
So it's not that you die. If there's no one there to manually do the work of the machine, then yes.
In the dark?
In the dark, yeah.
So if there's no one to respond to all the rooms that would normally, now I don't know if these machines are battery operated. I've seen that these machines have alarms if people go into cardiac arrest or other conditions that need intervention, that there would be an alarm. Without electricity, without a backup generator, would you know if a patient is going into a life-threatening condition?
Well, in the ICU and these special places where people are on ventilators or machines, they are constant monitoring. The nurses there very well, they monitor constant 24/7. However, on normal wards, unless they have a charged monitor that could take vitals and whatnot, you have to literally go to each patient to make sure they're okay. And there's usually only 2 nurses on a ward at any given time. Usually there are 2. Some days there are only 1 taking care of many patients, more than 20 sometimes.
In critical care?
Yeah.
All in need of critical care?
On a normal ward.
All in need of critical care?
Yeah, correct.
So would you say that the situation at the Mount Hope Hospital is less than ideal for the delivery of proper health care?
Correct. And it's no fault of the nursing staff, the doctors, the pharmacists, anybody who works here. I don't think it's any of their faults. I think it's the system. And, I mean, you have to work with what you have. And if you have a limited resource, then I really don't know what to say. It really is a sad situation.
Are you aware that this country, now I don't know if you're aware, so I'm asking you, are you aware that this country spent $50 billion on healthcare in the last decade?
$50 billion.
$50 billion. Do you know that we're spending $17 million a day now?
Wow.
Do you, when you are there and you look around for supplies and for facilities, do you see $17 million worth?
No, of course not. I have to go from ward to ward looking for my supplies. It is ridiculous. For something as simple as paper to write on, I have to walk around with paper because some places just don't have they don't have paper to write on. It is ridiculous, and I do not see 17 billion. No.
Are people dying, losing their lives, who could otherwise have been saved in our healthcare system if it was being properly run?
I wouldn't say being saved, because I think the care itself, they try their best, but I think it could be a lot better. I think, like, those that are critical, the staff there tries their best, but there are cases where I think patients could have lived because, if they had better facilities. And the quality of care is definitely diminished because of resources. Simple things like medication.
Hospital management then comes into question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the facilities are as properly managed as you would, as a medical professional, prefer them to be for the delivery of quality healthcare?
I don't believe they are properly managed. No, not at all. Things are not being given in a timely fashion. They're probably out of supplies, but I don't think it's being properly managed. I really don't think so.
And yet, the people that are always blamed, and I for myself have to take some licks for agreeing to share blame only for doctors, because the blame that people always want to give is to the doctors for poaching patients to take the private practices. But if you cannot provide healthcare in the public healthcare system, what are you to do?
Correct.
So going forward from here, because again, as a medical professional, would you suggest that our healthcare system is in crisis?
I believe it's a crisis, yes.
What what do the doctors want addressed urgently?
Okay, from my perspective, right now I'm working in the surgical department, and my greatest concern is the operating theater cannot function like it should, and because of they don't have enough operating time, they don't have enough staff, they lack in supplies, and because of this, people have to wait not months, years to get surgeries. I mean, they try their best trying to do the urgent cases.
Those are elective surgeries you're talking about, or all surgeries?
Elective surgeries and even emergency surgeries. On a given night, when there's an emergency, they could only get one theater open. One theater. If there's two emergencies, what is going to happen? We have to wait until that case is finished to get the other case. Does that seem right?
How many theaters we have at that hospital?
How many theaters?
How many operating theaters?
Probably, I can't give you an accurate answer, but I can say it's definitely about 8.
And sometimes only one functioning.
On an emergency night, only one is opened. Doctors would have to beg to get a second theater open. Just last week that happened, and there was a gentleman waiting to go to the operating theater. He was an emergency. He could have died before going to the operating theater, but they did not open a second theater. There are cases where doctors had to literally pick up a mop and mop the floor just because they wouldn't open the theater because it's not cleaned. So doctors literally pick up the mop and mop the floor just to make sure it's clean so we can move along with the next case. Simple things like that. And on an elective basis, when there's like about four cases scheduled, usually only 2 would go to the theater, and the other 2 will have to be put off. Why? Because of lack of the time. They say it's the time, but if the doctors are willing to operate, it's just that they lack staff, and the staff that goes off like around 3 o'clock, they don't want to hold on for another case, and they said it'll be too much for them, as it's sad. I really feel sorry for the poor patients who they are fasted. They don't eat anything waiting for the surgery and then can't have their surgery.
Wow.
Yeah. I'd be disappointed every single theater day. Every single theater day.
So the medical staff, would you say they are going above and beyond?
There are times, on a daily basis, I can tell you the medical staff does way more than their job description, and they do more of other people's work in addition to that. So yes, I think like the nurses, they take care of that ward. Sometimes there's one nurse on the ward. She has to do everything. She has to do everything for about 20 something patients. I mean, that's abuse.
I want to ask you one last question, and I really appreciate you taking the time to take this call.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
I want to ask you one last question. If the hospitals were properly managed, do you think we would be able to deliver world-class health care with the facilities we have?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Ignore it to your peril, unless the person on the gurney waiting outside for emergency surgery is a member of your family. Ignore it. Ignore it until the heart or that needs intervention, or the patient that bleeding out, or the poison victim or the accident victim that needs stabilizing. Ignore it until the person on that stretcher, or worse, lying on the ground on a piece of cloth, waiting to get on a stretcher. Ignore it until that is you. Ignore it until that is somebody that you care about or you love. When it happens to them, hold your head and bawl. cuss Trinidad. Where's everybody? Why are we not talking about this? Why nobody dealing with this? You know why? Because you're staying silent until it happens to you. Until it happens to you. We as a nation are being abused on a daily basis, and any other doctor who wants to call me now and add any other nurse, any other medical professional, you could block your number. You don't have to give your name, give your information, because we have a public meeting this Saturday in Chaguanas, and at that meeting I am going to call for a petition to fire the Minister of Health. He has been there for too long for this madness to be going on. It is deteriorating. This year's healthcare budget is significantly higher than last year's, and we're getting less for it than we were getting 2 years before, and 2 years before was atrocious. We have medical professionals in this country that are fed up. They are fed up, and then government wants to blame them and have us blaming the medical professionals. The rise and proliferation of private hospitals in this country is not because of greedy doctors. It is because the healthcare system is failing. It is failing. So it needs to be addressed as a matter of urgency. The Progressive Empowerment Party proposes 41 fully functional healthcare facilities, healthcare centers in each constituency, with 24-hour accident and emergency and minor surgery suite to free up all of those operating theaters in the main hospitals. We need to get this nation functioning again. What is going on right now? What is being delivered to the people of Trinidad and Tobago? That is not government. That is not governance. We need to demand better. We need, as a people, to demand better. There is nothing more that you could add, that I could add to that. This is the legacy of red and ready and yellow and steady. Madness masquerading as healthcare. 3 people infected with HIV by the hospital, by the blood bank. See that? Dispense fake, fraudulent drugs. The minister wouldn't call his friend's name. He wouldn't dare call his name. And the commissioner of police, what's his job?
Your vote will decide what you want to be. Your vote can foretell.
I'm live now. I just had a doctor give me information about it. You could anonymous. I know, yeah, that's why you wanna contribute.
When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the proven to be your sinful amount. When you're voting,
vote them out. I have doctors, medical professionals.
now that change should come about. Just as how you vote them in, vote them out. Register and vote them out.
They gag. They can't speak. They sign non-disclosure agreements. We trapped. It's like when Clico was failing, the supervisor of insurance. Ramesh Lawrence Maraj told us 8 years before Clico finally collapsed that Clico was functionally insolvent. And the supervisor of insurance, I knew people working in the supervisor of insurance office who were telling me, don't go near Clico. And they was driving their sellers, the shiny suits with the shiny shoes, selling you all kind of insurance product. And nobody could tell you you're buying tickets on the Titanic, because they knew they would come with the bullshit too big to fail. Take Trinidad money from your family, your loved ones, your children, your future, the quality of life that you should have had. This country is run like a circus. We need to turn that around.
If for 30 years you voting them in, and there's only tears.
Cheers.
As soon as you win, they give you big words and enslave your soul, promising you roads
And giving bottles.
If they are the reason why the economy goes sprout, when you're voting
name? Is Faris Al-Rawi still the Attorney General? He has broken 6 laws. Why is the Children's Authority Board still in operation? They should have all been fired for failure to act on this matter about Kamuto. It flouted the law. Why did we go through all the trouble and the 12 years and the 25,000 of us that marched to get the Children's Authority Board set up and funded? Why did we go through all of that if it is just to put laws in place for politicians to flout? Why?
If it is the building I saw, east, west, north and south, they say where you vote them in.
All the campuses, all the buildings, hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. The waterfront Hyatt cost us $700,000 a room. We will never get a return on that investment. Under Patrick Manning, Napa, Sapper, Tapper, the Scarborough Hospital, that waterfront project, the madness at La Fantasy, what they didn't steal, take, borrow, overrun, they pack by the container and bury. They have people in this country who have money that they cannot answer for, and they playing the fool because they holding offices, high office.
Totally, state your finger and rescue the country.
The morgue,
Put them out with them.
you're kind of dead in dignity.
Let's put our country together.
You can't even dead in dignity. Alexandrov want to leave. He said we mad.
Yes, we pray. Let's put our country together again.
Why are we continuing to accept a failed state? Why are we continuing to accept the nonsense that passes for political representation in the parliament? Why are we putting up with bacchanal and nonsense in place of representation? Why? Why are the people of Trinidad and Tobago so broken in their minds that they believe that as long as they vote race, they will stay in their place? Why? Saturday, 6 p.m., Caroni Savannah Road. Come be part of the change.
Bureaucracy, a catastrophe. If they cannot go, and you see it so, then your only hope is for them to go.
It is our policy to destroy, cancel, wipe off the map that entire regional health authority foolishness. It is nonsense. It was set up for theft, for people to steal. It is a conspiracy between drug suppliers and drug buyers and high office holders, chamber of commerce companies, public office holders. The regional health authority is a fiasco, and it is a blight on this nation, a cancerous boil that needs to be lanced. How are you going to lance it when red and ready and yellow and steady both have hands in that pot? How?
If it is fabrication, these statements that they spout, when you're voting, put them out, put them out. If it is that frustration, that's make you want to shout, when you're voting, put them out, put them out.
When last you spoke to a Trinidadian that was happy? When was the last time? When was the last time you spoke to a Trinidadian and they told you that they're content with how their country running? When was the last time? Somebody who is not somehow involved in any way, capacity, a beneficiary of the government or from state funding or the state trough. When was the last time? When was the last time you spoke to somebody?
Before they misuse out, deeper sell out and digs out. If it you, put them in, put them out.
And they're traveling regular. They're traveling regular. Because they're moving with just enough US to not trip the alarm, but check their passport. It reading like they have enough frequent flyer miles to orbit Mars. Check their passport. They're moving it a couple million at a time. That's why you can't get foreign exchange, you know. Because billions of dollars have come out of the system, stolen from the system, misappropriated. You go to the companies that do vaults and vault doors in this country, and they will tell you the kind of people that have massive vaults in this house, in this country, red and ready, yellow and steady, and they have the money, and they have to sanitize it. They have to import condensed milk and Milo and saltfish and pigtail and plywood. They have to import things that are run bar, restaurant, nightclub. They have to sanitize the money. They have to sell lotto tickets. When you check, some of them running, they have lotto machine. Them buying 36 numbers for play with. Morning, noon and night. Morning, noon and night. And they get in an NLCB check. And they go in the bank with the NLCB check. And if I know this, the freaking FIU supposed to know this. If I know this, the Commissioner of Police supposed to know this. I want to know why nobody's taking action on what is going on in this country. And now they're buying up the foreign exchange in bulk. To get their money out, because they know when the Titanic start to sink, they want to be able to get out of the country and go and live with their loved ones, their numbered bank accounts in Miami and London and Panama, in this nasty banana republic that we've allowed to come to this. We are living on cents, on the dollars that we're supposed to have, that was supposed to have been spent on the people of this country. My number is 682-2110. If you want to have your say, call in now, 682-2110. And let me tell you, the numbers outside 17 County Savannah Road on Saturday at 6 o'clock will be instructive, either to me or to the government and the opposition. To me, it will say, Trinidadians don't care. To the government and the opposition, it will say, watch it. The people not happy. You get to decide. You get to decide. Make yourself a little uncomfortable. They say a frog that jumps in hot water will jump right out. A frog sitting in cool water where you slowly turn up the heat will allow himself to be boiled to death. Are you going to allow yourself to be boiled to death? If not, 17 Carney Savannah Road, Saturday at 6 o'clock. Good evening, you're live.
Good evening, Philip Edward Alexander.
What's up, my brother?
I commented on your thread relative to those weapons. First of all, they are automatic weapons. They are not semi-automatic. A semi-automatic weapon is a weapon that cycles, and it can only discharge one round at a time. Those are fully automatic weapons that you saw in those photos. Additionally, Mr. Guy Griffith would have messaged me and told me that he appreciates my comments, and they were great comments, because I commented on the thread with where I put the photo. And I stated clearly that possession is clear in the pics, because when you go on the range to do an exercise, familiarization or not, at the end of the day, the range instructor has to be on your shoulder. And if he's not in your personal space, you are in possession of that weapon. So if you want to use the cadets and all these trainees as examples, and even the police fair, they have an instructor on their shoulder. In those pics as seen, there was no instructor present, right? Additionally, the weapon was not always pointed in a safe direction. Right, those are the NSPs as it governs range and training weapons.
But you see, you saying that all it does is instruct the people listening, the police officers who are supposed to be charged with this investigation. They're supposed to be operating along those lines too, because at some point somebody has to be charged with criminal offenses based on what took place there.
Yes.
And the army doesn't have,
if they have possession.
The army doesn't have the authority to police itself. The army doesn't have jurisdiction over the laws of the republic.
Correct.
See you on Saturday, my friend.
But then you have an acting commissioner, so you don't know.
See you on Saturday.
Have a good night. Yes, sir.
We have an acting commissioner. We have an acting chief of defense staff. Just now we're going to be giving out Academy Awards for who acting best. We have a chief justice who the entire law association, the majority have said, we have no confidence in you. And he say he not moving. This is a banana republic. He don't have to move. He don't have to move. This is a banana republic. Here? Give me a break now, man. Here, this is do what you like, land. Do what you like.
Yeah. Revelation.
Do what you like. And Rohan do what he like on the port. Come into Bill, Kirap interchange on his land. He and the partners buy K-Donner. Going to Bella interchange on land he owned. Himself to himself, left pocket to right pocket in the Royal Imperial Majestic Banana Republic.
He promised the fire next time. He promised the fire next time. He promised, he promised, he promised, he promised, he promised the fire next time. Next time. And who in there, the bad moon, the who in there, bad moon, the
But your Prime Minister telling the nation that once the PNM in power, things going forward. Forward to where? Forward to our crashes, forward to, you can go forward till you crash, the country crashing. We are talking about numbers like 8, 9, and 10 US dollars, 10 TT dollars for US just now. When you go into the bank, you have to ask and appeal to the bank manager's mercy. Can you assist me today with US? Yes, I can give you 100 US. Come back in 2 days and take an next 100 US. So if you need 3,000 US for a trip, you need 30 days in the bank. You hear madness? Total, complete madness. And your dwen of a Minister of Finance talking a crocus bag of ass every time he open his mouth. Every time he open his mouth. And the only reason he still have a job, Rowley know why. You see, Rowley whole government is deals within deals. It was, let's make a deal. Let's bust Manning throat. Let we go Barbados and get a vote and no confidence and line up with the UNC. So we go vote against Manning and bust the throat. Manning smell the rat. Manning called them out, but he gets summoned to Goodwood Park and fired. Rowley become the leader of the PNM with no election. Nobody know how Manning get fired and Rowley get to become leader of the PNM to this day. Nobody can answer. But this is a democracy. Give me a break now, man.
You're mocking pretender. I check your lyrics and I'm confidence you. Far too long, you're fooling the children. Filling the head with brainwash education. Doomsday reach, boy, pandering fit. Cause the children coming to take back the fit. The power of the word in the conscious styling. For a brand new morning. The power of the word in the rap so styling. Rocking the roots of the vampire system.
You have to understand your responsibility in a democracy. You cannot just hold your head and ball. We cannot sit down here every night and cuss. You cannot go on every wall and just cuss. You cannot talk to your neighbors and just cuss and carry on and bitch and moan and let these people get away. You need to understand the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago exists for you. The first thing it recognizes is you, the people of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Without you, there is no country. Because of you, there are systems of governance put in place. The Constitution speaks those systems of government. Police, President, Prime Minister go forward. Parliament, Senate, everything is contingent of servant to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. But you cannot allow people to do what the hell they like. Because as long as you continue to let people do what the hell they like, this is the kind of nation that we will have. Hello, good evening, your life.
Philip Alexander.
Yes, good evening, your life.
Good evening, sir. I have two questions.
What?
Who is the Minister of Energy right now?
Franklin Khan.
Right. Didn't that same Franklin Khan went to jail for corruption?
I don't want to go down those roads because...
Right, okay. And on top of that, the Duen, he laughed in the face of the people of Trinidad and Tobago as Minister of Finance.
Where are you calling from, caller?
And he's still there.
Where are you calling from?
Well, I'm calling from abroad. So this is what is going on in Trinidad. Rowley is the big dog in the yard.
Thanks a lot.
Nobody else.
Thanks a lot for your contribution, caller. Listen, you could call and you could talk your talk, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to at least have, now, everybody who calls, I see your number, I want to let you know that. So, wherever, even you're calling from overseas, I see your number. But anyway, I will respect people's anonymity, but you can't just have courage behind a mask. I don't have no mask. All three of my names outside there. Okay? So coming back to the issue, we the people of Trinidad and Tobago have to stand up for ourselves. Look at what is going on in America. It never ends. Politics never ends. Look at what is going on in the United Kingdom, in the European Union, Germany, France, Spain. It never ends. Go to the countries that work. Holland, Sweden, Finland. Go to the Slavic and the Nordic states. And those countries work. When the people of Iceland realized that their bankers were taking them for a ride and was engaged in corruption, they went and they came out in their thousands, fired their government, and their bankers are in jail. That is how you run a country. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have to stand up now. We have to stop the foolishness.
Talk it all, you bloody deceiver. Talk it all, you serpent master. Talk it all, you friggin' oppressor.
Anyway, Saturday is the 17th, and we are going to be at 17 currently Savannah Road. Come out in your tens of thousands. Make yourself uncomfortable for a minute so you could have a comfortable life. Stop trying to endure the heat turning up under you. You are being boiled alive. This nation is malfunctional, non-functional, dysfunctional. It is in complete crisis and disrepair. From the judiciary go right back. We grow nothing. We have CPEP and URP and DUE designed to hide and keep labor away from farms so that farms can become an issue. Why? So that the money launderers could import $5 billion worth of food a year. Saltfish, pigtail and condensed milk. Check what's going on. It is only happening because we allow it. Saturday the 17th at 6 o'clock, we are outside 17 currently Savannah Road. On the 28th of June, we are on Independence Avenue in San Fernando. We are making Rio Claro, Faizabad, Barakpur. We're going Lavantel East and Lavantel West. We are going to all 41 constituencies. And if you want an opportunity to build a party that rescues this nation, your party, a government for you, come and get involved. Add your mouth, add your time, add your presence, add your $10. Come and get involved, because they say what we allow is what will continue. So Saturday we will know. peptrinbago@gmail.com for those of you who want to send information to us. We have no meeting of Meet the Members noon that we normally do on a Saturday. We have a national executive meeting at 1 o'clock. If you have an interest in spending the rest of your days in this nation, help us fix it. We have a chance and an opportunity here. The Progressive Empowerment Party is growing at a very fast rate. Come and be a part of that. Yes, to all of you who are with us tonight, thank you very much. See you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.